All right, everybody, let's get started. Thank you for coming. Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Microphone's not working yet. Can everybody hear me? Better. Okay, great. I'll speak directly into the microphone. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Rufner. I'm the president of Friends, and welcome to our annual meeting. Hi. So we do this once a year in the summertime. It marks the end of our year. And we make a big donation to the library. So that will be coming up a little bit later. I want to say a little bit about the community. Thank you. I think that's much better. Thank you, Catalina. So this community has been through an awful lot in the past couple of months. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight and supporting this. The Friends also support the community. So what we do, our mission is to take in books that are donated by the good folks of this community. And we hold book sales. We have a bookshop up in the library itself. We raise cash for the library programming throughout the year. So we support the poetry readings. We support the second Saturdays. Anybody here come to the second Saturdays? Okay, those are fun, aren't they? So this is all about giving back to the community. So I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight. First, I want to also thank the board of the library. I don't think anybody's here tonight, but thank them anyway.
Board of Trustees.
Board of Trustees. And I want to also thank the foundation. Mark, you're from the foundation, and some other foundation members. Wave your hand. Victoria? Okay, all right. And I also want to thank the Friends. Being the president, it is my honor to work with these people. They're so dedicated. They work every week, taking in these donations, cleaning them up sometimes. The big heavy lifting really is in organizing the books into categories so that we can put them out at our sales and make it easier for you to shop for your favorite books, your favorite genres, your favorite authors sometimes. So it is really my distinct honor and pleasure to work with these people. Thank you, all of you that work so tirelessly for this. It's a year-round effort. Thanks to the people that help at our book sales. We have the Cub Scouts come and help us. We have youth volunteers. I want to thank Nikki most of all, and her staff here at the library. They work with us so seamlessly and intensely. It is like having an extended family. They support all of our efforts and make it easy for us. So thank you, Nikki. Now I'd like to call Nikki up, and she's going to say a few words.
All right. We'd like to start our programs here at the library off with our land acknowledgement statement. So I'll start with that. The Altadena Library District acknowledges our presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. We commit to learning, educating, and informing our staff and residents of Altadena about the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, present and past. All right, good evening. As Tom mentioned, I'm Nikki Winslow, director of this district, and I'm here to say thank you to our fabulous friends of the Altadena Libraries for all you've done this year. Supporting our wonderful libraries and staff as we work to bring library services and community resources to Altadena, even as you deal with your own personal trauma from the fire that devastated our area. Thanks to your generosity this past year, you've helped support, as Tom mentioned, our fabulous second Saturday concerts, which bring music and fun to our community throughout the year. Even after the fire, we saw hundreds of people gather to enjoy their neighbors and music of local artists. Our amazing summer reading program, which just started, by the way, yesterday, but last year helped hundreds of families find joy and learning in literacy by reading over 281,000 minutes as a community. We held almost 150 programs and events, and had a huge increase in the completions of the summer reading challenge. And then we also, with your support, have our wonderful Poets Laureate program, now in its third decade. This inspiring program celebrates culture and creativity, as well as the poets, writers, and artists of Altadena through its consistent programming and engagement. This included rescheduling some very impactful programs after the Eaton fire to give residents a platform to write and heal through a very traumatic time together. Finally, as Tom mentioned, thank you for your countless hours of volunteering, your eternal advocacy, and your financial support of our district. I'm humbled by your resilience in the face of tragedy and awed by your dedication to our library, our staff and patrons, and our community. You're more than just friends, you are family. Thank you. And while I have the mic still, I would also like to thank the fantastic Keni Arts for being here tonight as the featured speaker for this annual membership meeting. It has been such an honor having his beautiful paintings here at the main library this past month. Although half were born in tragedy, they truly capture the heart of Altadena. As I said at his opening reception, I think exactly a month ago, although the Eaton fire devastated our beloved community, it hasn't broken its spirit. His artwork evokes a feeling of hope and renewal. It is dedicated and passionate residents like Keni and like all of you that make this such a special place to live and work. Thank you so much, and I'll bring Tom back up.
All right, thanks, Nikki. That was super. Want to introduce Mark Mariscal. He's going to come up and say a few words.
All right, so a couple of things. One, I want to say that in addition to Nikki being our library director since November of 2019, so she got here right when COVID hit, got through COVID and then Eaton fire. But during that whole time, we've been working on the remodeling and the renovation and the expansion of the Bob Lucas Library. And also then somewhere in, I don't know, October, November, December, later this year, we'll close this one and we will renovate this library. And so the Friends and the Library Foundation and all of you that happen to live in what is called the Altadena Library District boundaries, all are contributors to that work. And so I want to thank you for that. So what I would like to know is how many of you actually are not from Altadena Library District boundaries, meaning you came from Pasadena, Glendale, Burbank, other places. So welcome, and I would hope that if this is just your first time, you had an opportunity to walk upstairs and look at the architecture of this building. And if you didn't, this program won't last unless Kenny talks till 9 o'clock. But you know, you'll have some time because the library closes at 8. But if it really is your first time and you don't get an opportunity, please come back at another time. We really invite you for that. And for those of you from Altadena, I just got to do a quick plug for, there's a program this Saturday, free from 11:30 to 1:30 at Loma Alta Park. And it's really for families. There's going to be some resource tables there, some booths, including the Altadena Historical Society, talking about the Michelle Zach book that's going to be coming out for reprint of the history of Altadena, some other things. There's going to be some resources for families, including, you know, some freebies, some produce, some goods, some food, activities for kids. So I do encourage you to do that. We do have 2 points of interest that we have to do, or 2 points of business that we have to do on our annual meeting. So Tom's going to come up. Actually, I see Marnie is here now, so that was good. So we have to do nominations for our officers. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're going to do the check presentation. I think those are the 2 things we have to do, right? Right. Okay, so you want to come up and finish that up so we can get to why we're here, which is really to see Catalina and Ashley and Nikki and all the staff at the library. Yeah.
Okay, sit down, Mark. Thank you for setting that up. So now it is my official duty to, I'm sorry.
Book sale. Don't forget June 28th that we're giving.
Oh. Yeah, we're gonna have an inverse book sale on June 28th here at the library. We're going to be giving books back to the public. as a show of our appreciation for all of the donations that we've received over the year. So in this season of want and need, we're hoping that families, people can come back to the library and grab a few books that they would love to read, maybe lost in the fire, so on and so forth. So let everybody know, June 28th, we're going to be having a anti-book sale. Doesn't sound good. Book distribution. How's that? All right. So now it's time to elect our officers. So every year we've got a group of people that work together to make sure that things happen with the Friends, make sure that the book sales happen, make sure that a lot of things happen behind the scenes. And so I've been the president for a number of years and they won't let me quit. So here's the slate of officers for the coming year. So the president would be me. The second would be Marnie. If you would stand up, Marnie. She would be the vice president, and Mark would be the acting treasurer. Mark, stand up. Okay. And Jeanette, I thought I saw Jeanette a minute ago. Jeanette would be our secretary. And we've also got our membership person. Marlene, would you stand up? All right, thank you very much. So that's the slate. And everybody in agreement with this slate and electing this group of officers, please raise your hand.
That means everyone in this room has the opportunity.
Okay, well, that motion carries very well. And is that Jeanette? There's Jeanette. Okay, Jeanette, you just got voted in as the president. All right, so Marnie, Mark, and Jeanette and Marlene, would you come on up, please? We're gonna do the check presentation, and if Nikki, if you would come up and officiate. Joanne, Kathy, Joy, come on up. All right, so drum roll, please. That's thrilling, guys. Thrilling. All right, so this year we are donating $20,000 to the Altadena Library. Mark, get in the
I'm fine, don't worry. You've seen me before. Try to take that to the bank and see what happens.
Favorite part of the job, taking all the money.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. That's the fun part of this job. All right, and now it's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce someone that many of us know. I personally met Keni some years ago. We've corresponded a few times. We've worked together on some events. We've sold his postcards, Christmas cards, and calendars at many of our events over the years. A few years ago, I was lucky enough we actually sponsored an event here at the library where Keni actually painted the library rear exterior. And it wasn't just him standing there. He actually talked through the whole process, his creative process, and it was fascinating. I've been fascinated with his work for many years. You can see how beautiful it is. Even the post-fire scenes have a vim and vigor and color that really brings these things to life. I really love his artistry and his technique. Please welcome Keni Arts.
First of all, something has been bugging me. Can anyone notice something about this painting?
It's cricket.
I've been sitting back at the back and I'm thinking, how could that be? I don't know if I can get it straight now. Can you live with this?
Yeah.
Don't look at it, okay? All right. Let's see if I can work this technology. We've, okay, my assistant is coming up to get us started. But it's good to see everybody. I see a lot of friends in here. Some friends I haven't seen for a long time, and wow, it's great to see everybody. So we're gonna have fun tonight, okay? Well, I'm gonna have fun. And remind me when it's 8:59, okay? Because Mark said I can't speak till 9, so at 8:59. Okay. Okay, that's it. Here we go. All right. Now, is there a way to get rid of that bar on the bottom, or is that it? Let's see. Okay, that is,
Fortunately, it might hang
Okay.
out there, yeah.
all right, no problem. All right, well, I'm Kenny Arts, and my artwork is awesome. I'm looking at some faces and it's like, I didn't come here to hear this guy brag. No, it's, let's see, which one works. Okay. Beep. Okay. Oh, help. It's not working. This did work, believe me.
Did. I was there,
She was there. Okay.
so we may have to do.
I've got to get out of this awesome statement, okay? And there is a reason I said that, believe me.
We might have to use the arrows here.
Okay. Okay, you think we need to reboot it? Sure.
We may have to-
All right, there we go. So awesome. My art is awesome. It's art with everyday scenes on my easel. And quite to the contrary of me being awesome, I believe my artwork is just rather ordinary. It's not the highbrow sort of artwork, and if you're a highbrow, then no problem. There's art for you. But as you can see by these paintings here, I just get out on the streets and paint what I see. And so I've been doing this for most of my life. I started, let's make sure I can do this now. All right, there, get it right in the center. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you about my experience, my travels through art, and it started way back in a place called Winfield, Kansas. I don't know if anyone has a teacher that they really remember, one teacher that really impacted your life. I had one. Her name was Miss Wilson, and one day she came in the classroom and she said to every student, grab all of your art materials. We're going to go outside and paint. That freaked me out. I had never painted outdoors before. So we packed up our supplies and we went out to paint. Well, everybody ran into the center of the park. And for some reason, I figure for one or two reasons, either I didn't want to be around my classmates or I just wanted to be different. But I set my easel right up on the sidewalk and I began to paint. And one of the things that I thought about is I'm so exposed that someone could come up and criticize my artwork and tell me you don't know how to paint and things like that. But then on the other hand, I'm like really shy. And unless I'm behind my easel, you'll not often get a good conversation out of me. And it didn't take long before I realized that I really enjoyed people coming up, talking to me while I'm painting. And that's one of the things that's kind of interesting. Sometimes I'll see someone kind of off at a distance and they seem a little reluctant to come up and talk. But if you ever see me out on the street, come up, let's have a conversation and let's get to know one another. So, where's that pointer? Okay, so all right, we're going to work through this. So I came to California right before I graduated from high school, and I soon found myself working in the film industry. I started out as a prop maker, which is industry term for a carpenter, and we were building sets for TV shows, for commercials and music videos, mostly commercials and music videos. Well, one day, somebody brought this big canvas in. And anyone know what kind of a camera that was shot on? The Polaroid. That was advanced technology back in the day. You could take a picture and get the results in less than a minute. Can you believe that? So anyway, someone brought a blank canvas in and set it up, and a guy began to paint on it. And I told the owner of the business, I said, I like to paint too. So he said, okay, well, see if you can help out. Well, I began to work on that and fell in love with it. And this is called scenic art. And in the past, you used to see a lot of the backdrops you would see, like if you looked out of a window of a living room or something like that on a TV show, that would be a hand painted backdrop. So I really like to do that. So I did my best to get into the union as a scenic artist because I like to paint more and I like to build sets, even though I like to build sets a lot. But I tried to get in, and about the time that I was about to get my foot in the door, they came along with some more technology. It's called a translite. What a translite is, for the photographers here, you would know this. Translite is a huge blow up. So someone go out and take a picture of, say, downtown Los Angeles, take it into a lab, and within a couple of hours or overnight, they have a 30-foot by 12-foot photograph. So that put a lot of the scenic artists out of work. And so I never got into the union as a scenic artist, but here's what happened. Here's what happened. So as I worked my way in through the union, I ended up as a set painter. As I worked my way through the union, people began to realize that painting was really my passion. So what they would do, and before I tell this, anyone from IATSE union in here, if you don't know what that is, I'm safe to tell this. So IATSE is the kind of the umbrella union group for Hollywood. And I was in Union 729, and scenic artists were Union 800. Well, everybody knew I liked to paint, so what they would do is they would sneak me behind the set or something like that, and they would give me a job. Because for one, it saved money, and another thing, it kind of kept me from complaining because I wasn't out there painting instead of building sets or as a set painter. So, Mark, now this may take till 8:59 okay, here we go. So this is the first movie, Tron. There've been 2 Tron movies, and this was the first one. Well, they said paint one of our game consoles because game consoles were a big part of that movie if you had seen it. And because I have 3 daughters and now 3 granddaughters, I had to make women the center of focus on this scene. So all female astronauts, go girls, you rock. And not only that, I actually put a black astronaut in there. So they let me do that. But here's the sad part. I went to the screening waiting to see that console, and they had so much smoke in the scene that it didn't even show up. And so that's one of the things that you learn in the industry. You just can't get attached to your work there because changes are made all the time, and you just have to do the job and move on. One of the things I did during my lunch hours is I would paint the scenes that were going on. This scene here is some grips lifting beds, and what a grip bed is what they hang their lights on. So they put that over the sets, hang the lights. And so it was so interesting to see. It's almost like a trapeze act, and you know how this guy's balancing himself up on that cable system. And so these are the sort of things that I really grabbed hold of in this type of scenes that I did over the course of probably 25 years or so. So I have still, and one of the good things I think I did is when I grabbed everything rushing out away from the fire, I grabbed all of these, so I still have all my paintings from the Hollywood Backlot series, so I'm happy about that. I have been asked to sign autographs by actors before, famous actors. This is a movie called Stir Crazy. For you folks that's close to my age, you might remember that. It was done in 1980. And all throughout I was a standby painter, and what a standby painter does basically is stand by. You really don't do much of anything unless someone scratches a set or something like that during filming. And it's like from 0 to 100 miles an hour all of a sudden, because you just have to be ready to fix things in a moment's notice. Well, because I had a lot of free time, I did sketches of all of the scenes, or a lot of the scenes during the filming. And I actually put together a book at the end of that movie. And I gave everyone a book on the final day of filming. Well, when the wrap party came, I went around and I asked the actors, I said, would you sign my book for me? And they said, only if you'll sign mine for me. So I've had a chance to sign some autographs from some actors. So that was kind of a special thing for me. So moving on, one of the situations with the movie industry, a lot of layoffs and a number of strikes. Well, in the 90s, there was a writer strike, and it put it put all of us out of work for quite a period of time. And I'm not one to just sit around and do nothing. So, I sketch and things like that. So I said, let me go to a real estate office. Now, this was on the corner of Altadena Drive and Holliston. So if you are familiar with that, there was a two-story house there now. But this was a real estate office when I did this sketch. So what I did, I just did a sketch, took it in, and said, "Can I do some drawings for you?" And so she met with her team and all of this stuff, and she said, "Yeah, sure, you can do that." So what she would do, is go out and visit all of the different houses that she owned or that she was selling, and I do drawings for them. Well, eventually I ended up doing drawings for practically every real estate office in the Pasadena, Altadena area. And I did the first painting, a drawing and painting of a $1 million house. And now that house would probably sell for $2 or $3 million, but that's how long ago that was.
If it didn't burn down.
It burned down. Yeah. It burned down. It was on, well, I don't remember what street. So anyway, I did that, and things were going so good that I thought, well, maybe I won't even go back into the movie industry, because, this is really my passion to draw. And I love architecture more than, I draw people also, but I really loved architecture. So I also developed a way to go into a house and do a floor plan. And I could do all of the measurements for a floor plan in about an hour. So I would do the floor plan. It'd take me a little while to put it together into a brochure. So they started offering brochures, and this is one of the things that sort of gave the realtors a leg up, is to have a floor plan on all the houses. So as you can imagine, I was busy beyond busy, and thankful for that. But just like the movie industry, the bottom fell out of the real estate industry. And so fortunately, I kept my union card up. So I did go back into the industry. And there's a chance, because I don't know how many of these I did. The realtors would have me do the drawing first, because they didn't have color printing for newspapers at the time. So I do the drawing and do the watercolor over the top, and they would give the painting to their client as a gift after the house sells. So some people may have had one of my paintings and didn't even know it. So if you still have your house in Altadena, take a look. So the bottom fell out of the industry. And so I started doing commissions for individuals. A lot of by now people were aware of my work, and I was getting a lot of requests to do commission work, and I did like I don't know hundreds of those over the course of time. So I have stood where Albert Einstein stood. Years ago, there was a fire. It was called the Bobcat Fire. Anyone remember the Bobcat Fire? Yeah. And that was one of the fires up in the mountains here in San Gabriel Valley. And so I wanted to get up there and paint during the fire, but I couldn't. So I did a painting from one of the photographs, and it was a photograph of the firefighters walking across this bridge as they had put out the fire. And I presented it as a gift to the observatory. So they invited me to come up there, and I said, "Well, I will if you'll let me paint." And so they said, "Yeah, well, yeah, okay." So they were kind of hesitant at first, but they did let me come up and paint. So this is the scene. They actually let me inside the observatory, and that's the painting I did inside there. And I was told by the director that they had because they do tours and things like that from time to time. And I was told by the director that I'm the only artist who has ever painted inside there. So it was quite a treat to get to do that. And so what I'm talking about is just some of the opportunities that I've had through my artwork. And I know that you folks out there have special talents. And as you put those talents out there, you'll find out that you can really go to some interesting places. One of the places I went to was Brazil. I have what I call sort of a plein air ministry in art, and the word plein air is a French term. Is spelled Enplein. Anyone speak French here? Because I'm always unsure if I'm saying that right. I usually say plain air, like a Kansan does. But so I just paint outdoors, and I began to do missions trips, and this particular one was here to Brazil, and a very unique place. It's called Ivaporanduva, and this is a community like up in the mountains. And so the story behind this is that Brazil had its slave trade just like the United States did, even bigger than the United States. And so a lot of times the slaves would escape up into the mountains and establish a community there. And that's what happened here, hundreds of years ago, they established a community. And so they began to build it up. But one half they kept just like it would have been in Africa. And the other half was more modern. And it was, I didn't bring any of those pictures, but it's such a dichotomy to see what the architecture looked like hundreds of years ago in Africa and what they were able to do with it now. And the people were brilliant. There were people that understood caves better than most other people would. And so it was just a pleasure to be there. Another country I visited was Europe. I went throughout Germany and the Netherlands, where else? The UK, of course. And again, some just wonderful experiences going around and painting and spreading the gospel to people. So that was a pleasure for me to do that, be in Germany, also Mexico. I spoke a little Spanish, so I was able, usually like in Brazil, it's mostly Portuguese. And so I had an interpreter with me. And in Mexico, I spoke a little Spanish, but if I didn't have an interpreter, they just enjoyed the paintings. So Africa. I didn't go on a mission trip to Africa, but my daughter was living there at the time. And I went over there to visit her. And, of course, I'm going to get out and paint. And whenever I'm out painting, I just like to share the good news. So this is one of the scenes in Africa, just some beautiful beaches there. And I had a great time while I was there. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, here we go. And here I'm back in America, United States. And one of the things I found is that when I'm talking to a person one-on-one, like you see in these pictures, this bottom left one there is back in Brazil. But when I'm talking to people one-on-one, it's amazing. You can talk to them about anything and get a good conversation out of them. And that's what I like. I like conversations. I don't like to go out and sort of convince someone of something. I like to find out, who are you? What do you like to do? What are your beliefs? What do you enjoy doing? So when it's just one-on-one, I can have some great conversations. However, when it comes to more than one person, you get a lot of opinions and things of that sort, and that's not a problem. But then again, sometimes people will give you the look. So there are all kind of unique experiences that I've had out there. This bottom right one was again in Africa, and I just had such a fun time with the children. I gave them some, let them do some painting also. And one of the things that I was sort of warned when dealing with children in foreign lands is not to give one kid something if you can't give them all something. So I wasn't able to give them art supplies or anything like that, but most of them went home with a painting of their own. So this painting needs some explanation here, okay? And I blurred this guy's face out so you wouldn't recognize who he was. I painted with presidents. This lady right here was the president of the Pastel Society. It was an international pastel society. Do you know of that? Do you know?
I don't know the organization, but pastel.
You know
it's so-
pastel?
I admire people who can do
Yeah,
that.
pastels is an amazing medium. I worked for like several years solely in pastels. I sort of gave up watercolor for a while. And the lady right here was a dear, dear friend. She was more like a sister to me. And now my wife took this picture, okay? So, but she said, let me take a picture with you. And I think my wife and I were getting ready to leave. And so she just plopped down and my wife took the picture. So I had to explain that so no one would have any scandalous ideas about what was going on here. But she was that type of a person. One of the things that I so admired with her name is Urena Christie Tarbett. She grew up in an orphanage and had a real tough life, suffered abuse and all of these things. Well, when she was, I think she was somewhere in her early teens, she found out that one of her uncles was also an artist. And he happened to be, his name was Christie, and if you look that name up, he was a famous artist that painted a lot of scenes for the government, for senators. I think he did a painting of a president and all of that. Well, she was related to him and had no idea. And so that is what lit the fire in her to become an artist. And so she got out and hustled and did what she needed to do, and she started a society for pastel artists, and she would travel all over the world and do these workshops. Well, I met her at one of the conventions, and we became fast friends. And anytime we were at a convention or anything like that, she'd always make sure that she'd make eye contact with me, and was just somebody that I came to adore. Like I said, she was like a sister. Well, one of the places that she would have us paint at, my wife and I went here on these sort of art retreats several times a year. Not several times a year, but on several occasions, probably 4 or 5 times. Well, I mentioned that she was a president. Well, this was a home of a president. This is what's called the Western White House, and it was the home of Ronald Reagan. And we had the opportunity to paint there for probably 5 or 6 times before she passed away. And this is one of the paintings I did from up on the hill. And there's just so much interesting history, regardless of your politics. If you have a chance to get in and get so close to these levels of power and find out what goes on behind the scenes and what some of the security guards, some of the security staff did and all of the other things, it's just a fascinating story. So moving on, one of my hobbies, I have a couple of hobbies, and one of them is designing and building furniture. And this is a sewing cabinet that I did for my wife. My wife is a quilter, And this is one of her quilts right here. And so she's an artist right there. So I appreciate the work that she's done. She's the camera person today, but she is. So this is one of the items one of the quilts that she made. And when my children were born, I designed and built a rocking chair for them. And so that's one of my passions. Another one is 3D modeling. Have this years ago, and let me check the time. Yeah, years ago, I was painting in downtown Los Angeles. And one of the things I did before I went was always listen to the news, because at that time there were a lot of bomb threats at high schools. It's kind of like a rash of those going on at the time. So I checked the news, and sure enough, there had been a bomb threat at a high school near where I was going to paint. And I took the metro there and got into Union Station and was going out to paint. And as I was walking through the Union Station, I could feel the presence of someone right behind me. And so I went in the restroom. I didn't turn around right. Went in the restroom. One of the people followed me, and I found out it was like, what do they call, SWAT person or something like that. And so they were telling me all through Union Station. And once I got into another part, they actually locked that area off for a while. Well, it finally opened. I think the reason I had my larger kit on my back, and the tripod was sticking up out of it. And so they might have thought it was something else. So anyway, I thought I need to be less conspicuous. So I designed this kit, and this is the one that I've done most of these smaller paintings on with this kit right here. The larger ones, I set up an easel outside. Some of the smaller ones I did as well. But I said, I need a kit that perfectly suits me, because I've tried a lot of different ones. And so I designed this, and I'll let you peek real quick. You can't look at it because I don't have, I still haven't got the patent on it yet. But, so I have to be careful who I show it to, but I trust you folks, okay? So let me move on here. Sports, I should say. I can't sit through a basketball game or a football game. Sorry if that's your sport, but I love Formula One racing. And the sort of GOAT, the greatest of all times for me, there's a young guy named Lewis Hamilton. And if you know anything about Formula One, it's yeah, I have another fan here for you, Lewis Hamilton. If you know anything about Formula One, it's kind of a rich man's sport. And a lot of the drivers come from the type of wealth, because these are like high tech, one of the most high tech machines on the planet. And so Lewis Hamilton came from very moderate beginnings and worked his way up, and now a 7-time world champion. And so this is the sport that I will watch. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about, as I get ready to close here, I'm going to talk about Altadena, because one of the questions that Tom asked is what's kind of like, what is my vision for the future? And when I think for the future, I think two things. One is AI, because it's invading all of our lives. But another thing is Altadena. I've been a resident of Altadena for about 40 years now, so I'm always thinking, when I think about my future, I'm thinking about what's going to happen. Well, my family and I are going to return. And I'm encouraging anybody who can. And I'm finding out there are a lot of people who are leaving Altadena, and I understand it. It's a tough job. We've got a big job ahead of us. But I believe we can do it. So here's my plan for Altadena. First thing, build a big wall around it. Not a big, beautiful wall. It's okay, but a big natural wall. So you build a big wall around it. And the next thing you want to do, put a ladder against that wall, put a hole in the wall about so big so someone could go up on that ladder and put their face in that wall. Okay. And then you put a charge box by there for donations. Okay. And then the money starts rolling in, $5 a shot. So what you can do, if you want to see Altadena, you climb up that ladder. First, pay the $5, you climb up that ladder, and you look in and you can see beautiful Altadena, because it's gonna be beautiful once again. It's not gonna be the same Altadena that we have experienced visually. But as long as we can keep as many of the Altadenians in Altadena as possible, it's gonna be beautiful Altadena. I don't care what it looks like. So, you know, so, you know, I'm jesting about the wall, but the point is, in fact, the wall, in a sense, to me, means a wall to keep people in, not a wall to keep people out. We don't want to keep people out. We want people to come in and visit and go home. Like my friends here, they came in and visited, and now they're going home, right? No, my friends can stay. So, but anyway, and I've been thinking about this a lot. You know, the $5 is, you know, not really the point here. You know, the money's necessary. But then again, it's kind of an encourager. How can we encourage people to stay here? Yeah, there have been a lot of meetings here, group meetings. I've been to some of them myself. And it's nice to sit in these group meetings where you have people that sort of help walk you through some of the processes. But, you know, they're dealing with, you know, 50 or 100 people at a time, and you don't really have a lot of time to have some individual FaceTime with them. And one of the things that's helped me so much, so my wife and me so much, is we've had children, grown children, who've been able to step up and take the load off of us. Say, Dad, you don't need to do this today, and just take care of some other stuff. Paint if you have to. So one of the things that and sorry, I'm think of my kids and I get that way. One of the things that I'm thinking is, if we can have an incentive for the residents of Altadena, so they don't have to do all of the work themselves, where they're not in like group meetings, which group meetings are great, but maybe where an architect or a contractor, and we're gonna have to look beyond Altadena. We're gonna have to look at maybe the city, or maybe even the nation, to pull this off, or maybe even the world, where an architect or someone like that can volunteer some time to each individual homeowner and say, I'm gonna help you with this step. An electrician, may it be an electrician in Europe or Africa, but because of the internet, you can have somewhat personal interaction with someone where you can call that person and deal with a particular problem, because there are so many steps that we're going through. And, you know, people have been through this all over the world. So, you know, we're not alone here, and we're not crying and say, pity us over everybody else. But we do need all of the help we can get. And I believe that if we begin to muster some of those resources on an individual basis, not just on a group basis, I think that we can see some things happening. So I'm gonna have some giveaways now, okay? Now, how's that sound? So I can't leave without giving something away. So the name of this show is called Beauty for Ashes. And some people have asked, do I have just 5 more minutes, Tom? Sure. Okay. I don't want to overrun my time, but some people have asked about the name Beauty for Ashes and not Beauty from Ashes. Well, it's a scripture in the Bible out of Isaiah 61:3. And I had the titles Beauty for Ashes, from Ashes first, but then I started looking at what all of that meant. And let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so does someone have a $1 bill? I'm gonna do a demonstration, so I need someone that has a $1 bill. You can't participate. You can't participate. Someone, yeah, thank you, but people don't, oh, do you have one, a $1? Do you mind coming up and volunteering? She beat you. You mind volunteering? Okay, hold on to that $1 bill.
Do I have to know the serial
Yeah.
number?
No, you don't have to go. You don't remember all of that? Okay, so let's say you want to get $10 from that $1 bill or $20, let's say $20 from that $1 bill.
Mhm.
So hold it out and say, I believe
I believe
I'm gonna get
I'm gonna get
$20
$20
from this $1 bill.
from this $1 bill.
Okay, how's that working for you?
It's probably working somewhere.
But is it working with you? Do you have $20 from that?
No.
Okay, say, I believe I'm gonna get $20
I'm gonna get $20
for this $1 bill.
for this $1 bill.
I will give you $20 for that $1 bill.
Wow, that works.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I'll give it back.
No, I don't want it back. You got it. That's what you get for the $1 bill. So the point is, this is an interaction. It's not just, you can have a seat now. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm not gonna give you another 20.
I'm gonna give you a 20 from my.
No, but the point is Beauty for Ashes is about an interaction with people. It's not just about one individual doing something. It's not about having a miracle happen, even though I'd like that to happen. It's gonna take people working together, and had not we had that interaction, she would never have gotten my $20 bill.
That's true.
So that's why the name of that. So now that I've said that, I will, so this is, and I've been wanting to design a logo for the series for quite a while. And I will have to explain this a little bit as well, but this is the logo for Beauty for Ashes right here. So I'll explain a little bit about this because people have had some questions. Down here are the ashes. One of the things I've noticed as I painted, and you'll notice this in the paintings, are all of the trees that are just stripped of all of the vegetation and everything. So you've noticed that too. And so that's one of the things that it's really been kind of startling to see that. And so I see a time when those leaves will start to bring life back to them. Well, this is a rainbow for me, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. What you see in a rainbow is up to you, but I see a promise that God made. And so when I look at that, I know that there's promises made that I can depend on to help me get through life. And so this is one of the things that's what that represents, and I see Altadena coming back. And so this right here goes to anyone who has lost their home and you would like a t-shirt, knowing what this is all about. Anybody here like that? Some of my friends here, okay, so I see two hands. I saw yours first. All right, so you're welcome. So, okay, but one of the things I've found is that there are people whose home is still standing, and yet they are not living in it now, or else they just moved into it or something like that. So if there's someone who would like another t-shirt whose home is still standing, but you've just gone through all kind of headaches, actually, this is for you. All right, my last word for the night, and it's not even 8:59.
Kenny, the box behind you is the box behind you.
Yeah, this one right
No,
here?
the other one, right there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't forget that too.
Okay, so also, and I think it looks like we're gonna have enough for everybody. If this is a painting that I did, and people who were here last time have gotten one of these. But if you didn't and you would like to have one of these, they're gonna be on the table in the back when you leave. And then also something else for everyone, if you want it. I did make some stickers. So if you'd like one of the stickers, you can have that when you leave. So there you go. All right. Last word. I said that was the last word, and here comes the last word for real. Okay. All right, you folks are awesome. Audience welcoming, engaged. I didn't see anyone fall asleep. Supportive, I believe you're supportive, open-minded, open to some new ideas, motivated and essential. everyone in this room, whether you live here or not, you are essential. Just your support means a lot to us. And to have people come out and hear something about Altadena, that really helps us understand that we're not going to go through this alone. So thank you, everybody.
What an inspiring vision. Thank you, Keni. We're so fortunate to be here with you. Thank you very much. And now it's my pleasure to wrap up this annual meeting of the Friends of the Altadena Library. We really appreciate you coming out. We really appreciate you supporting the library. If you're not from Altadena and would like to make a present or a present to the Friends of the Altadena Library, we have a donation box in the back. So please avail yourself of that on the way out. Grab some cookies for the trip home. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it, especially the staff of the library. We look forward to another year. So thanks. Eat a lot of food.